With the CEC Validator application, you can easily build conceptual schedules for your projects and quickly see how your schedules and cost estimates compare against industry norms. In this video, we'll show you how to use Validator's 3 main workflows and where to find detailed insights for not only your projects, but also your entire portfolio. There are 3 ways of adding a project. The first option is for building a conceptual schedule. If you don't yet have project costs, or if it is very early on but you still like to just get an idea of how long it's going to take, you can use this workflow to quickly run your conceptual schedule. The second workflow is useful when you have your own plan that you want to compare against industry, phase by phase, to see if your planning is conservative, aggressive, or in line with industry. The third workflow is used when you have both cost and schedule, and you'd like to run a comprehensive validation. Let's start with the first workflow and build a conceptual schedule. The project entry screen asks questions about your project's high-level characteristics. Populating the optional fields is highly recommended, such as inputting location details, so that you can go back and refer to that information anytime. Should you have a unique ID tracking system for your projects, you can add project ID. Another is type of process, for example, as perhaps for a chemicals project. This is the phase where the project is at the time of data entry. Since we're building a conceptual schedule, the core input here is the cost. Let's look at a hypothetical $30 million project. We want to build a schedule starting from a particular date. Similar to the CEC schedule duration tool, we have 2 options here. The first option builds the schedule forward in time. The second option is for targeting startup of the project, so that you can do a backward schedule calculation and build. Once you submit this information, Validator outputs the industry norms in 2 scenarios. Again, similar to the legacy Excel-based CEC tools, but in a much more controlled and granular fashion, because of all the additional project characteristics contemplated by the Validator application. The 2 tables below provide the range around those durations. To perhaps enter execution duration as 15 months. You will be shown the range indicating projects that were able to get completed in 10 months, as well as projects that took 20 months. Let's now explore the second workflow and validate our project schedule. Suppose now that we have moved on to FEL Phase 2, and we would enter a schedule and compare our schedule against the industry norms. For purposes of this demonstration, I'm inputting random dates here. Recall from the previous screen that we have chosen to designate this project as cost-driven. Once you have entered your schedule here, you will see comparisons of your project plan against industry norms for the not schedule-driven scenario, or otherwise as appropriate based on your chosen strategy. This is in addition to the data we saw earlier. Here you are also shown schedule-driven norms, because very early on, your strategy may not be set in stone. This enables a view of what may be achieved if business decides to pivot to a schedule-driven scenario. These visualizations compare your project against industry at a glance. The color scheme represents the following ranges. Green indicates the average range. Yellow is outside P50, but within the 80% range. And red means outside the 10 to 90 range, which is indicative of significant risk. Let's now explore workflow number 3 and validate our cost estimate and project schedule. Let us now see what the cost estimate and cost validation look like together. As we have moved on to FEL Phase 3, we now have a good estimate. Validator now asks a couple of extra questions about your cost estimate in IPA's summary cost form buckets. Here we are keeping the schedule the same and so are ready to validate what we have entered. Clicking the Validate button generates this 3-page report. The overall page is high level, with the cost and schedule pages that correspond to these tabs going in depth with respect to each of those validations. You are shown cost and schedule, overall competitiveness, and can see quickly project summary information. Here, we see a $30 million chemicals project in the US, currently in FEL Phase 3, as well as other characteristics such as project add-ons. System-generated validation insights are also provided. High-level key takeaways are displayed here. Questions displayed here are representative of those that IPA research has shown address many important concerns with your project. Here we see detail about the cost summary validation. You may verify that your inputs are correct and edit anything that needs to be changed. Let's explore some output that provides a deeper dive into your cost estimate. Your data is compared against industry using 47 models. Displayed here, the background data used for validation. This provides clarity as to why, in this example from our demonstration, your overall cost estimate is scored very high. Filters are available to display with more granularity. Keywords filters can also be used. Let's look at bulk-related metrics by entering the filter term here. As you can see, cost validation is detailed across 47 model ratios, so you can get a very good feel of how your project compares to industry using a variety of metrics. For easy consumption, metrics are color-coded in the same way we saw earlier. By clicking Project Value Percentile Column Header, we rank your metrics from conservative to aggressive, or the reverse of that, by clicking the column header a second time. That's it for the cost side, so let's move on to the Schedule Duration tab. For schedule, what we've already seen is summarized at the top of the output screen. Similar to what we saw within the Cost tab, your schedule is compared at each phase against industry averages. Here, you can view historical reports. The latest report from each phase is saved for your later review or comparison. Let's now explore the portfolio functionality of Validator. The portfolio page provides system-level insights aggregated on a portfolio level so that you can see portfolio competitiveness. This, again, is aggregated, so as you add projects to Validator, each of those projects will receive ratings for cost and schedule. Similarly, on the competitiveness side, you can also monitor time trends because everything that you add here, even across multiple years, will be saved. As you build your portfolio of projects in Validator, you can monitor trends over time. These screens are not static. You can filter your portfolio view any way you want. You can derive various insights by looking at the overall versus the subset. For example, if you only want to see revamp-based projects, you can do so. Similarly, you may want to filter your view to FID or FEL Phase 3 estimates. The goal is to derive more granular insights about your portfolio. Now let's take a look at Validator's Projects tab. Here we see high-level project data in list format. Depending on the type of validation you've performed, information about those validations, cost and schedule, alone or together, is displayed. That is to say that if you have performed only a cost validation, the score will be displayed in the cost competitiveness column. Likewise, had you performed only a schedule validation, the score will be displayed in the schedule competitiveness column. The project list provides some context-sensitive functionality. You can view the report directly from this column by selecting the View Report menu item. You can also edit a project directly from here with the Edit Project menu item. For example, if you previously added a project and now are progressing to the next phase of the project and have more robust content schedule, you may edit the project and then advance that way. This is also useful should you wish to rerun the numbers. Shared access to the project can be set here with the Manage Project Users menu item. For example, if you wish to share the project with another user, who does not have access to your project, you can authorize that user for this project. If you have been assigned corporate administrator, you have access to everything. A couple portfolio management options are available here. The Change Status and Archive Project menu items can be useful if, for example, you have entered a project into Validator that has been put on hold or cancelled and would like to refer to its data at some point in the future. Let's now explore some administrator role functionality available in the Settings page. The Settings page is viewable only by users designated with administrator privileges. This dashboard enables monitoring of your company usage statistics. Project classifications for things like business units, engineering centres, regional capability centres, and the like can be customised here. Up to 20 classifications can be created. Classifications that you create enable tagging of a project as you're entering it in the system to enable filter query for your future estimating needs. Thanks for watching. Visit ipaglobal.com for more insights on improving capital effectiveness.